David Buttrick was the son of a very famous 20th century preacher by the name of George Buttrick. And he himself, David, became pretty well known too as a preacher following in the footsteps of his father. But he tells a story of when he was like an adolescent. And because his father was so well known and so highly respected and so hospitable, people would always be showing up at their home. Father would invite them, the mom would welcome them, and they would stay overnight. And one part of that was that David would have to give up his room for the sake of the guests. So David would do this more or less willingly, but he would always make sure that he put out a couple of his favorite mysteries and books. And they were always mysteries with great twists and turns and wonderful, wonderful plots, and they weren't very long. And he would put them on the nightstand right by the bed, but he also would tear out the last chapter in the book. So when people would come, they would get ready for bed and they would start reading the book and they would get intrigued and they'd get to the end of the book and there was nothing there. And then they would come down in the morning for breakfast and David would be sitting there having breakfast. And this is, as he tells the story, people would be bleary-eyed and upset and say, I started reading this wonderful book, but there was no last chapter to it. And David would just kind of smile to himself and enjoy the moment. They got his room. He got them, I guess you could say. You know, all of us like to know what the end of the story is all about. And that's what today's gospel is all about. The apostles are asking Jesus, you know, what's the end of the story? When is this going to end? When's it going to be over? Herod, and you may be aware of this, Herod was a great builder. He started building the temple like in 19 BC, and it was finished in 63 BC. And what Jesus was saying when he said, not a stone to be left upon a stone, was the temple was then this beautiful ornate temple that took 50 or 60 years to build, was totally destroyed by the Romans when they invaded the country. So that's what Jesus was saying to them. Herod built all kinds of other things as well. So the point of the story is we don't know when the end is going to come, and you don't want to be preoccupied with that or worried about that or burdened about that. Many of our folks at home that are shut in, we probably think about the end. When is the end going to come? The best thing we can all do, whether we're homebound or we're not homebound, is to live in the present moment, to reflect the love that Jesus has for us and the love that we have for him, to reflect that love to others, and to know that when the day does come, when the Lord calls us home to himself, the Lord Jesus will be right there to meet us and greet us and welcome us home.